From KELOLAND Media Group, an Inside KELOLAND special. The Remarkable Women of KELOLAND.
Thanks for joining us for our Remarkable Women Inside KELOLAND special. I'm Bridget Bennett. Over the next half hour, we will hear from this year's 4 finalists, get a look at the inspiring work that led them to be nominated, and then we'll announce this year's winner of the KELOLAND Media Group Remarkable Women Award. Our finalists include women who are breaking barriers, working to end the stigma of addiction, changing the lives of students, and helping people learn and connect to agriculture. Their inspiring stories and their message to others, that's all coming up. Throughout the month of March, KELOLAND Media Group celebrates Women's History Month with Remarkable Women. But the contest goes beyond our region. It actually is a nationwide initiative created by Nexstar Media. Before we get to our nominees, KELOLAND's Renee Ortiz looks into the history of the contest and what goes into these stories.
The Remarkable Women contest began 5 years ago by founder of Nexstar Media, Perry Sook. He pushed the idea of a company-wide initiative to honor women across the U.S.
There are stories from every sector, remarkable women from education and healthcare and mental health and for-profit businesses. They're amazing and they're inspirational.
Matt Rosenfeld is one of the many leaders that has worked to bring this series to life.
We do that with Black History Month. We do that with Hispanic Heritage. And just over 5 years ago, we started one with Remarkable Women. It's our largest initiative that we have.
Before these women can become finalists and have their stories told, they must first be nominated. Anyone can submit a nomination for a woman in their life. On average, Nexstar Media receives around 10,000 Remarkable Women nominations in November nationwide. It's then the job of the judges to narrow the thousands down to 448. Of those 448, 112 are nominated for a chance to become Nexstar's Woman of the Year.
The nominations can come from these women's children. It could come from their bosses. It could come from the president of the university they went to.
KELOLAND Living host Mitchell Olson was one of 3 judges for KELOLAND Media Group. He and others looked through hundreds of submissions from South Dakota and beyond. He says they look for 4 areas of emphasis: community contributions, self-achievement, and a combo of innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit.
It's not just about one event that they did or one big remarkable thing that they've achieved. It's about what they do all day, every day.
After the 4 women are chosen, their stories are highlighted every Tuesday in March. A finalist is then picked for the running of Woman of the Year. Vicki Stewart was KELOLAND's 2023 winner. Stewart, alongside 111 other women, made their way to the Remarkable Women's Award ceremony in LA.
When they come to Hollywood, we try to put out everything for them. And that's where it's extra special.
They treated us like royalty. It was amazing. It was a big thank you to us, and we knew that our work was appreciated and recognized, and I think that re-energized a lot of us to go back home and do even more.
Each woman receives $1,000, which goes to a nonprofit of their choice. The Woman of the Year recipient receives $10,000.
The $1,000 that we received from KELO Media Group, we used towards our mentoring program, which we just kicked off last July.
Stewart says it was amazing getting to spend 3 days with these women and hear their stories.
It is just a really empowering opportunity for women. Again, we don't always receive that appreciation. So to be with other women who have accomplished so much, it's really just moving.
This annual series will continue to work to recognize the women across the U.S. and here in South Dakota who are working to make a difference.
At the end of the show, we'll announce which of our 4 finalists will head to LA in April for Nexstar's annual award ceremony. Now, our first nominee is Melissa Dittberner. Known as Dr. Mo to her students at the University of South Dakota, Dittberner has taken her own struggle with drugs and alcohol and has turned it into a life mission to help end the stigma of addiction.
My mission, my goal really is to be able to lift people up, right? To help them learn to help themselves, whatever that looks like. And as somebody who's in recovery, I know that we oftentimes isolate ourselves, and we maybe don't have this idea because of stigma that we can really create something amazing in our life. And so I want to just be the model for what that could look like if people so choose to take the same path that I did. Because honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
In her nomination letter, it says she amplifies the voice of others who are impacted by addiction and recovery and calls her a natural leader. KELOLAND's Renee Ortiz finds out how that impact ranges from the classroom at USD to other boots on the ground efforts to help people impacted by addiction.
Melissa Dittburner, or Dr. Mo to her students,
What are some other signs or symptoms we might see?
is one of the head lecturers in the University of South Dakota's Addiction Counseling and Prevention Department.
I teach everything from like the entry-level courses to drugs and alcohol, counseling skills, telehealth, just kind of mentor them to be people who work out in the field.
But her knowledge of addiction goes beyond teaching. It was a part of her life.
I'm 21 years, almost 21 years in recovery from methamphetamines, and then 13 and a half years in recovery from alcohol. I was a high school dropout. I dropped out in 9th grade. And so I didn't really have a lot of what that looked like. I became a single mom, and I became a welder. When I got into recovery and decided that I was ready to start giving back to this community and lifting up voices, I realized that I had to get a little bit of education to be able to fit into the spaces that I wanted.
Dr. Mo started her journey here at USD in 2008. Over the course of 10 years, she was able to obtain her bachelor's degree, her master's degree, and eventually a PhD. She now teaches here at Patterson Halls every Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Sophomore Kate Nash began her first class with Dr. Mo this semester.
I've never been exposed to drug use and stuff like this, so hearing all of the speakers that she has, bringing them in, and it's just a lot of fun to hear their stories and how it impacted them.
Nash says she's learned so much about addiction prevention and how to be empathetic towards those who are struggling.
She's willing to share her story and have other people share their stories to make us more open-minded about the subject. I think it's great, and it's very inspiring that you can be so low, but then build yourself up and make yourself a better person.
Which is Dr. Mo's goal with her teaching.
Being able to take their lens that might look like this and just kind of expand it just a little bit, that's really my goal for my students, is to be able to just expand the horizon and give them alternate looks at different things that they may have had a really solid view on.
In addition to her work at USD, she's also worked with communities across the state to create addiction prevention programs like Straight Up Care Telehealth and Midwest Street Medicine. Dr. Mo says she wants to work with these communities to break the stigma of drug use.
Just because I had struggled in the past with addiction doesn't mean that's the end of where I'm at. That's just kind of like that pause until I could move on to the next piece. And that next piece is really being able to give back and hold space for the people in that pause to get them to their next place too.
And she's found a way to do that on a daily basis.
Dittburner has trained more than 2,500 people in South Dakota on how to use Narcan. In addition to her own nonprofits, she's worked as a board member with Emily's Hope. She says it's an honor to be nominated.
It's extremely humbling. I've had people tell me in the past, oh, you should tell your story and see what see what people think, write a book, blah, blah, blah. And I've always kind of stuffed that down as yeah, you think I'm cool kind of thing. But it is neat to be able to say, hey, I've been here and I've done that. Again, it aligns with my mission, breaking that stigma and what that looks like. And that's a huge part of what my business is and what I do here at the university. And exactly what we do out on the streets is break that stigma. And so telling you about my recovery story sometimes is difficult, but I feel like it's part of what I need to do to be able to show other people that, it's not the end of our story.
We are going to take a quick break. We'll hear from two more of our Remarkable Women finalists coming up.